not for both x and y. I got to modify it a little bit because we're not doing it for y. I'm sorry. Let's change x to 2x minus 4. That's probably what y'all were whispering about. Can't have two variables. Sorry. I told you I've had a bad morning. 2x, what I have? 2x minus 4. There we go. So, I'm going to rewrite 2x minus 4. You ever have one of those days you just need to quit? 2x minus 4. And what are we going to plug in to the big X? What are we going to plug in? 2x plus 3. And that's going to give us 4x plus 12, or plus 6, is minus 4 is equal to 0, and you can finish it. That's not a big deal. The whole point is that you do f composed of g, means that the f is written instead of big parentheses, and then you substitute in g right there. What if I give you Goff? What if I give you g composed of f? What would g composed of f be? Well, you would write this in terms of parentheses, and then what would you plug in? 2x minus 4. That's the difference between f composed of g and g composed of f. It's not very difficult, is it? Now, you can also do graphs in g composed of f or f of g. Let me give you an example. In pre-algebra, or algebra 1, whatever, if I gave you a graph and I drew a line, and let's say that this point is, okay, and I'm going to give you this one. Kind of would help to have a graph here, and I can put in a graph, but I'd have to go through and find it, and so we're just not going to do that right now. I told y'all we're going to have a class on this thing. Did I tell y'all that? We got an email the other day that said we're going to have a class on these in a couple of weeks. Good time to have a class on them 2 weeks after the semester's over. After the semester has started. Anyway, let's say this is 4. And let's say this is 8. Okay, I just put some numbers up there because I don't have any graph paper behind there. So, and if I was to, well, let's say that these numbers are not here. Let's say that the 1, 4, and 8 are not here. But you've got grids that go to those numbers, and these are not really here. And I say, and I tell you that I'll give you the 1, and I'll give you the 6, and then I put the 4 over here like that. And this is graph paper, so you can see those numbers. They're not there, but they're there. Okay? All right. 1. What goes in this spot right here? 1. And what goes in this spot? Well, you got to find y is equal to 4. Well, y is equal to 4. X is what? 3. And 6 is x. 6 is what? 8. Now, everybody remember doing something like that before? Okay? Same thing we did a while ago, really, with the algebra, except now it's on a graph. Well, with your pinky up, it's going to be written like this. And you're going to have the same thing as that. But this is going to be called f of x, like that. And down here, you're going to have f of 1. F of x is equal to blank. Or not blank. F of x is equal to 4. And f of 6 is equal to blank. So now you're going to have something like this. Do you know how to do it? Yes, you knew how to do it in pre-algebra. All you do is the same thing. But when you see this, most people what? Freak out. You've done it before. Same thing, same answers. 1. And what you do here is they would probably leave this blank. And you put a 3 there. And then this is 8. What am I trying to tell you about functions? Are they that difficult, or are they aesthetically more sophisticated? They're aesthetically more sophisticated. They look more sophisticated than what you did in pre-algebra. That's all there is to it. Have you done the algebra? Yes, you did it in pre-algebra. You did it in Algebra 1. Do not let all the fancy F's and the fancy G's make you go into hammy mode, because there's no use in it. Okay? Now, I just covered basically, somebody look it up in your book, but there are your syllabus. There's a section in Chapter 2 called Operations with Functions. Can somebody look and tell me what section that is? Operations and composition of functions, or something like that. Okay, somebody mark that. Everybody mark that, because we just covered that. So you need to mark in your notes that this is 2.6 material. Now, why did I cover that? Because we're talking about functions. No, let's talk about functions. Then talk about 5 or 6 different other things, and let the functions get what? Cold. So what you need to do tonight for homework is work on 2.6 homework along with 1.2 homework. Some of y'all are starting to see how I do things. I do things like that. I don't abide by a piece of paper. I think about how y'all think. Let's look. Let's look at some questions in the homework on 2.6 and see if I can discourage you. I'm trying. Let's see. I guess it would be called Chapter Contents 2.6 and Study Plan. Study Plan is just a way to do extra problems and not have to worry about your grade. It's not homework, it's just extra problems. It's under Chapter Contents. Go to the chapter section. And there are some teachers, now if it was left up to me, see, I do the 110 and 111 MyLab Plus template. I had a whole lot more homework problems in here than they let me put. Okay? So I tell students to go to the study plan and do more problems if you can, because I had at least 50 problems in each section of homework, some homework problems. And they told me to cut it back down to 25 because, y'all are in college. Y'all are not, Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll shut up. 50 problems should not be a difficult thing for people in college. But anyway. Okay. Look at here. Here's the problem. Do this one. I'll blow it up for you. we should quit and not even do this one because, you know, we can't do it. It's got an F plus G and then it's got a -1. So we need to talk ourselves out of doing it as quickly as possible. Right? There you go. Quit. It's easy to quit. Just throw your pencil down and make it pop on the notebook. Go into underwater firefighting. Or what's it called? Parks and Recreation. That's it. What are you going to do first? There's 2 ways to do it. Let me put it to you that way.
Can you distribute
Okay. Okay, we're not looking at it the right way. Okay? You should not be thinking of distributing. Go ahead and add them first. You can do it that way. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. Let me first. Okay, I do not like switching from there. It's a conspiracy, and we all know whose fault it is. Bushes. There you go. You learned. Whenever you fail a test or whenever something don't go the way you want it to, you blame it on Bush. All right. So f of x, hold your pinky up, f of x is equal to x minus 1, and g of x is equal to x squared minus x. Well, you got to hold your pinky up, and if you hold your pinky up, you got to talk sophisticated. Y'all didn't know that? It's called putting on airs. F plus g of x is equal to x minus. Okay, did y'all see that? Now, a while ago I did that and it didn't do it. Now, somebody explain that to me.
Murphy's Law.
It's Bush's fault. Minus 1. Bush designed this thing. Plus x squared minus x. Now, we don't have to worry about distributing the plus because positive 1 is a multiplicative identity and nothing changes. So we can just skip that step. And that's going to give us x squared. What's x minus x? That goes out. Minus 1. So f plus g of x is equal to x squared minus 1. Now, what do they want besides f plus g of x? They want -1 done what? What do we do with that -1? Let's go back to pre-algebra. Part of the. What did we do when you had f of 3? What did you do? We took what? What did you say?
Put the 3 in for x.
You plugged in 3, didn't you? Remember? Go back and look at your notes. We plugged in 3. So what are we going to plug in here? A -1. So f plus g of -1 is equal to parentheses minus 1. And we're going to plug in a -1. And what's -1 quantity squared? 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So f plus g of -1 is equal to 0. Now, how's the other way to do it? Well, the other way to do it really? f of x is equal to x minus 1, and g of x is equal to x squared minus x. Now, instead of adding the 2 at the beginning, what else can we do? We can take that negative 1 and do what? Plug it into both. And that's negative 1 here, negative 1, and negative 1. So f of negative 1 is equal to, what's negative 1 minus 1? And g of negative 1 is equal to negative 1 squared is 1 minus b plus 1 is what? 1 plus 1 is 2. So, in this method, we substituted first. What do we got to do second? Add. So, f plus g of negative 1 is equal to negative 2 plus what? And what is negative 2 plus 2? Oh my gosh! We got the same answer. So, you can do it either way. So let's write that down. Let's recap. Here, what did we do first? We added the functions first, then we what? We substituted in the negative 1. What did we do here first? We substituted the negative 1 in, then we added. Either way, you get the same answer. If you do everything what? Correctly. Now, a while ago, and this is normal, so don't get mad. A while ago, I heard somebody say 0. That is very common because people forget that 2 negatives make a what? Positive. So don't forget that. So let's put it in so we can feel good about ourselves. Well done. All right, try that one. I'm moving it. Just hold on. I know I have to blow it up for people that can't see, that sit all over the room instead of the front. F divided by G multiplied by 1. Or, sorry, substitute in 1. Sorry, I'm getting there. Hold on. I need Vanna to do this. Vanna don't volunteer to help me more. She comes in late every day on purpose.
That's exactly right.
Huh?
That's exactly right.
I figured. So. Alright, f of x is equal to x squared minus 7, and g of x is equal to negative x plus 15. I really get irritated when they write like that. I don't know who does this, but the negative x is supposed to come first. It really irritates me. I thought Bush knew better than that. So you see what they're doing to Trump? Have y'all noticed have y'all heard in the news what the states are doing to Trump? To try to slow him down, they are not going to invite him to Republican events in, I think, Virginia and South Carolina and one other state. South Carolina, he's got over 35% approval rating. So I don't think it's going to bother him. I think he'll get more votes if they do that. I'm going to vote for him.
Lindsey Graham said he'd blow him out of the water in South Carolina.
Yeah. I would put money on Trump. Because people don't like Lindsey Graham. He's a politician. He's the worst politician. He's a lukewarm politician. You don't know which way he goes. And there's a verse in the Bible that talks about being lukewarm. And it's a very true statement. I'm not trying to convert anybody, but it's a very true statement in life. People that are lukewarm don't do anybody any good.
You don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Exactly. Dang old country song. Dang old real country song, not one of these crappy country songs they play now. Dang old. Who sang it? Aaron Tippett. From dang old Spartanburg. Dang old.
I didn't know.
Sings through his nose a little bit too much though.
You don't like that, do you?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
Well, I'm really sick, so
I love Willie Nelson's music, but I can't stand the way he sings. I love the way he writes music, but I can't stand the way he sings. Ma'am, what did you say? I'm sorry.
I'm really sick, so don't listen to me talk.
Oh, you don't count. I don't criticize students unless they wear a sign around their neck that says, please criticize me.
You know, what about Randy Travis, if you don't like the
Oh,
nose?
Randy Travis. Randy Travis was a good country. He still is a good country singer.
Yeah, I agree, but his nose, he sings with it.
Yeah, he does. None of them can touch the king, though. King George. Nobody.
I'll agree.
Yeah.
They none of them can. I mean, they're
But he
They're
doesn't
good.
sing with his nose at all.
huh?
Jordan doesn't sing with his nose at all.
No, he doesn't.
What about Garth?
Don't know who that is.
Garth Brooks.
Yes.
To me, that person don't register on the country scale at all.
Well, I gotta hear the reason for this.
No, don't register to me. What did he do before he became a country star? Look it up. He tried to be a rock star. And then he failed at that, became a big country star, and then what did he do? No, he didn't. Look it up. He tried to go back to rock, and he flunked again.
It wasn't really rock.
Okay, alternative rock.
It was
He was an emo.
He got now, dude.
He did. What was his name? Chris Gaines? What? Yeah, look it up. Google it. Does anybody know the artist that he changed his name to?
He changed his name?
Yeah.
What?
He changed his name and he had this little goatee with a little... Oh gosh, you need to look it up.
Well, I saw him in concert last year, and he only sang country. But I love it.
There's nothing wrong with you loving him, brothers. Just me personally, he don't register on the country list of mine. But I have a weird country list. So people say, well, who do you consider country? Well, think of the worst country beat 'em up bar there is that you know of. And ask yourself, would you walk in with this person or this person? Would you walk in with George Strait?
Absolutely.
Yep. Would you walk in with Toby Keith? Yep. Would you walk in with Rascal Flatts? Hell. Unless you just wanted to get you butt whooped. So that's how I determine whether. Would you walk in with Johnny Cash?
Absolutely.
Would you walk in with... Oh gosh, I forget his name all the time. Love it. He works with Wounded Warrior Project.
Aaron Jackson?
Trace Atkins?
Trace Atkins. Would you walk in bar with Trace Atkins? Would you walk in with Alan Jackson? Would you walk in with Randy Travis? There you go. Would you walk in with Leonard Skinner? Would you walk in with the Eagles? That's how I say that's my country music.
I agree 100%, but it's just like most of the people today, like Jason Aldean can't stand the same music.
I just never said that you didn't say that.
He was
I didn't even notice that. I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, I didn't either, and I don't mean any offense to it, but
I don't even know who you're talking about. So.
No, I agree, but I do like him.
That's just an
The
example.
last country music, see, I don't even listen to radio anymore. I got XM because of this one reason. And I'm trying to get XM into my tractors because I won't listen to the radio in the tractors because they always play this stupid stuff about a Walmart parking lot
You can get
and
it on your
chicken
phone.
dinner. And I know I listen to my phone.
You just need to put it on the radio.
I know, that's what I got. I got a Boom. Call it Boom. About this big. And I play it. Anyway, chicken dinner by the river and Walmart parking lot and tailgate. Every song that they sing today talks about three things: a beer, in the truck, on the tailgate. So I quit listening to the regular radio. So I get XM and listen to my Pandora and my... I don't even listen to it.
I agree 100%.
I agree that they're not real country.
They're not.
I still like their music.
There's some kind of other music. I don't know what it's called, but it's not country. It's, I want to be, I think, this is what I think it is. I think I want to be a rock star, but I can't make it in rock, so I do it in country. That's the style it is.
But if one of these country singers came out with a song like something that Haggard would sing,
They have. I'll tell you who
would
has.
not like it.
Alan Jackson has. Jim, Jack, and Hank. That is a very good song. But Alan Jackson wrote it.
A lot of like young people now would probably not like it, so it would not.
There's a lot of
do
people
well.
out there now that are still writing like that though, but they're not on the radio. You gotta go find them.
Yeah.
Like Shooter Jennings.
Yeah.
That's just an example.
But I don't think you're going to see Shooter Jennings be
You're not gonna see anything.
somebody like totally against his dad. I mean, that'd be crazy. I mean, anyway, I don't know how did we get started on this?
I don't know.
It's Bush's fault.
We were talking about politics. Oh,
How in the world did we get off on politics?
you said
No, how did we get from
you brought up Trump,
And
and
where-
then she said you've got to stand for something or you fall for it.
Aaron Tippin? That's how we got off. They go Aaron Tippin. They go, "Gotta say something." Okay. So, oh, that's nice. Wow. I like that. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah.
Down there at the bottom it says screen right, computer, no signal.
Mm.
It's like it's set on the computer.
Oh, I know why. I know why it's doing that. Okay, turn this back off. Turn that off. And y'all just bear with me a minute, because if I could do this, this would help tremendously.
Let me know which
Give me a second. I'm looking for the input. There it is. Okay, well that just shut it down. That would be so nice if I could get this to work. Is the mouse moving over there?
Yes.
Okay, so that means that that's working. No, I did that. Hell, is it time to go?
Almost.
Okay, well then I'll just fool with that later.
We have like 10 minutes.
Okay, well, I'll finish this problem and then I'll play with that later. I think that's a good way for me to do things, because that way I can just copy the problem over here, but I don't know if y'all can see it. So we'll work with that. All right. So we can do the math, and then we can divide, or we can divide and do the math. Which one y'all want to do? Both? Or y'all want to do one over the other? Do the math? Okay. I'll do both. F of 1 is equal to parentheses squared minus 7. And we're going to plug in a 1. 1 squared is 1 minus 7 is what? Negative 6. G of 1 is equal to 15 minus parentheses. And we're going to plug in a 1 there, and that's going to be 14. And we're going to take F and divide it by, so that's negative 6 over 14, which is equal to negative 3 over 7. Now, let's do it the other way, and we're learning another way, but we're also doing what? Checking our answer. So, x squared minus 7 over negative x plus 15. Well, there's nothing you can do. Why? Because you can't divide anything there, so the only thing you can do is plug in, and you're going to get the same thing. Sometimes you might be able to get something to cancel or not. So parentheses squared minus 7 over negative parentheses plus 15. And that's going to give us a 1 here and a 1 here. So 1 minus 7 is 6. And negative 1 plus 15 is what? Okay, we got, oh, wait a minute, here it is. 1 minus, that's negative, there we go. And then 14 here, and you get the same thing as you get over there. Okay. Now, I want you to work on 1.2, work on your review, work on your orientation, work on 1.2, and work on what? 2.6.